Hello and bonjour. Welcome to yet another episode of SECHABA. Are you listening? I hope you've been able to learn some things as we've been embarking on this journey of women's issues. Now, I promised you in the first episode that we are going to talk to a lot of people. Okay, maybe not a lot of people. It was 10 people, okay, in my defense. It was 10 people. But it's a lot, guys. It's not easy to have 10 conversations. And we wanted to make sure that we talk to people from all facets of life because women's issues are wide and varied and it affects us in different ways. Now, today we're going to be looking at something that I don't think many of you have really ever considered. Women in politics. Where are they? Do they exist? Where are they even in their leadership positions? I know we hear about some women in leadership positions. For example, we were a very happy country when Mebala made it to the Ministry of Trade and Investment. I was personally very happy to have Me Peggy Serame as our Minister of Finance. Hey, homegirl, it felt really, really good. But at the same time, I don't really get lots of other similar stories. Just even a principal, a CEO, we don't really highlight those things, but everything is political and not in the sense of BDP versus UDC versus BCP, but economics is political, sociology is political, relating to each other is an act of politics. So where are the women? Why aren't we involved? Where are our decision-making skills? That's what we want to ask you today. And as usual, I am with my bro TK. And I have a very, very special guest. She is from the Friedrich Egbert Stiftung Institute. Galaletsang Dintsi, thank you very, very much for joining us today and helping us figure out where our place is as women in politics. How are you?
Thank you for having me. I am fine, and I think I'm happy to be here talking something that interests me, that I live in, work in, and breathe politics. Yes.
But you're not a politician.
I work in politics. There's a difference, but I'm not a politician.
Okay,
Yes.
okay. Can you kindly let the viewer at home know exactly who you are and what it is you do in the political space?
Okay. I am Galaletsang.
Emma?
I am Motswana, loves this country. By studying, yes, I studied political science and at master level, politics and international relations.
Oh, nice.
So yes, I'm in this field and I also work in the fields. I work for a political institution, Friedrich Ebert Stiftung.
Okay.
It's a German political institution. So we are here in Botswana for now 51 years. And our work is to promote democracy. So we work with like-minded actors that want to see our democracy flourish. And when we say we work with like-minded partners or actors, I mean that we work with organizations that want to promote democracy. And when we talk democracy, obviously now we talk politics.
Yes, that's true.
So would work with organizations that realizes that maybe youth are left behind in the political space. Would work with an organization that realizes that women are left behind. Because the essence of politics is what you just said. Who gets what and when.
Yes.
Each and every person, people in a society should be able to enjoy what that state or what that society produces, share equitably, and be able to enjoy whatever it says it is. It says it's a democracy. Then we must all enjoy the fruits of that democracy.
Yes, that's true.
So that's the space that I work in. So I'm not a politician. At this time, I'm promoting democracy. I'm promoting politics that every and each person should find themselves. I agree. They say it's democracy for the people, by the people.
Yes, for the people.
So that is the space that I'm working in.
Oh, okay. Nice. That is actually very nice because all my life, I honestly thought that in order to work in politics, I had to be a politician. And I think I was probably 19 or 20 when I realized that, oh, okay, politics goes beyond
Yeah.
what the politicians are doing. And so the ideas of democracy that I've experienced are wide and varied. And I think a lot of us maybe don't understand what it actually means to be living in a democratic country. I'm not sure I can safely say, these are my freedoms, these are my rights, this is what I am entitled to as a young person in Botswana. And I don't know. Do you have that option in Zim? Or do you guys know? Like, is it easily available information?
I mean, it's information around politics is accessible, but I think there's a disconnect between like what you're saying, that for me personally, I think politics is politicians and it's you campaigning, being liked by people, promising and not delivering, or over-promising, or sometimes even just people management. So I never really wanted to dive too much into it. Hence, I'm also one of the guilty people amongst the youth who it's not something I'm proud of, but I've never voted. Because even when I look at the politics in itself, I feel excluded because I'm like, all of these people, they don't seem to represent what I want. Where are the people that, who can represent what we need as youth? Yes, there's also other marginalized communities, but also the youth are also have needs. There's high unemployment. Who wants to tackle it? We can have policies, but, so politics...
And Tiki, I just want to come in there because, yes, you are right. There could be a disconnect. Not could be, there is a disconnect. But the thing is, even if you disregard it, you show disinterest, you disengage, it doesn't help you.
Yes.
I think that's the conversations, that's the work that we are trying to do. That's why we say we work in politics. To show people that then you are letting them be. That's just the essence of it. If you are angry at politics, you're angry at politicians, it doesn't mean that they won't make policies for you to access land. It doesn't mean that they'll stop to distribute land or our resources, our diamonds, or anything that they do. It doesn't mean that they will stop working. They will still work, but work within their context. And that context is that context of them being able to advance themselves. That is why all other groups cannot be ignoring this. If you ignore it, yes, a lot of young people everywhere, it's not just in Botswana, every country would say the same thing, that there's that, oh, we don't care. Then you don't care, then it affects your school fees, how much you pay.
Yes.
You don't care, it affects what you are eating, because politics is everything. Policies are not only about, politics is not people just campaigning. When they finish campaigning, they go outside and then they start controlling your life. So that's why you cannot not be interested. I don't know how much we need to teach, but it could be also that maybe we are teaching late.
Maybe.
Yes. And I understand you are young people and two different countries and you are singing the same song. Because you didn't get that at primary level, at kindergarten, to realize the connection. Even adults, such as ourselves, maybe we're lucky because we're in the field. And not only the field, but because also some of us are activists, not only because we studied political science. People are so disconnected, they think it doesn't affect them.
Do you have any ideas like what we should be doing just as a people to start educating ourselves on politics?
I think my start would always be that first, love your country. I think that's the start of it. I mean, and politics is very related to patriotism. It's related to loving this country and knowing that this country can flourish.
True.
It's not some dream that this country can be a high flying in 2036. It's not just, it's not a dream. It's a dream that can only be realized by all our efforts. Let's start from there to understand that when you are a citizen, you also have responsibilities. So let's just start there. Yes. You want the rights, you want the privileges, then you also must have a responsibility towards achievement of that.
Yeah, that's
There's
true.
nothing in life that doesn't involve two parties. So when you sit and you are angry at home, you are not doing your right as a citizen to vote and look for representatives. Or not just vote, to say, I am ready. I'm going to represent my community because I know it better. So let's just know that it's all of us. Members of our parliaments are representative of a society,
Yes,
which means
yes.
all the societal issues must come from us.
So in as much as we're also here to discuss women in politics and our political issues, can I just ask every single Motswana to consider the fact that maybe some political knowledge, some understanding of how the processes work and what your representatives owe you and what you owe them will help us reach that Botswana we're looking to reach. Let me just let you guys pata kakwa because I need some water. I think my guests need some water. And we will be right back on SECHABA. Are you listening? Hi, guys, and welcome back to SECHABA. Are you listening? We're still here with TK and Galaletsang. And as it turns out, I'm learning to admit that I don't know anything about my country's political structure. I've gathered some bits and pieces here and there, but I know nothing. And now I want to understand, I don't know if you would know, Gala. We've seen that, okay, maybe there's a disconnect with the youth. Is it possible that maybe women are intentionally being taught to stay out of politics? Is that why maybe, in as much as many of us will go learn political science, not so many of us will go be represented at party level, country level, end up ministers? Is that the case?
Yes, let's go into women. It's a lot of reasons. Any social scientist will tell you that social behavior issues is multifaceted. It's multi-pronged. You can never point at one thing and you say it's one thing. So when it comes to women in politics, first, yes, culture. The culture issues, we can never run from it. I mean, even our most known mosadi o bona ko lapeng.
Oh, mainani.
Yes, ga se mainane. No, that's
Not those ones.
Diane.
Diane. Yo,
Yes, guys.
hey,
Our language also is suffering now.
family members, please don't judge me. Y'all know I went to private school.
Mosadi o bona ko lapeng. Mosadi o jwa mabogo. I think confining a woman to home. And we know decisions have always, before the parliament, they were made at Kotla. Because that's our politics structure. Politics is not new, right?
And
we're not talking about something new.
Yes.
Where society thrives, lives together, there's always politics, some structure of the parliament. So it was Kotla then.
Yes.
And then the women were kept at home, right?
Yeah.
Even
Kotla was a man's
even the idioms that we use in Setswana, Diani and stuff, they want to tell a woman that her place is at the home.
Doing the nurturing work.
So that's patriarchy. That's the patriarchy telling you and us aiding it and agreeing with it that maybe we belong there. Because it's not just men that are saying that. Even some women really believe that, no, my place is just to take care of the children. Then all other people can take care of the harder things, the decisions, right? So it's the culture. But it's also the fact that I don't know why politics can be dirty. As in even the things that they say to each other, whether it's in parliament, whether it's during the campaigns. It can
we're
be
very mean to each other.
They can be very mean to each other. It can be really cruel. So I think because there's even a study in Botswana, nicely, it's not like from the top of my head, there's a study done by Mebala, the NGO. It's called Meokai study. Like they went around, interviewed all women that are in politics and were in politics. And they're saying all these things, the cultural, that other people don't believe women should be in politics. They talk of buliwa. Harassment, bullying.
Like you're being picked on because you want to be a woman in politics.
So some women shy away from that's another reason. Not only that, the economic factor. You had candidates, they have to pay like money to be just a candidate.
Hold up.
Yes.
Wait. So I can't go stand for my constituency if I don't pay a certain amount?
Yeah, all political parties, unfortunately, require some sort of.
Okay.
So there's the money, and then it doesn't end there from political parties. Then it's us at home.
Yeah,
and I think you saw that on Facebook.
Yes.
The way it's becoming so bad in Botswana that they say, if you want me to vote for you, then I must eat something. Because for them, politics is an event.
Yeah,
If you say, vote me, if I vote for you, I'll give you this much. That is an event. It's not, they don't understand that it's a whole process thing that we have to work together from him or her winning till the end. And unfortunately, who has the money? I mean, let's tell the truth. Who has the economy?
Yeah, no, we're all broke.
The men have the money.
Yeah.
I mean, you do any study, any country, even the West, surprisingly.
The men have the money.
The men have the money. The economy is with the men. So you see already what is happening.
Yeah.
So those are the inhibiting things that inhibit women to maybe raise their hands.
What do you think the solution could be to kind of also give the financial abilities to women, as well as maybe even limit or lower the harassment? Because, you know, a lot of people think that, you know, harassment is something that you can just go home and sleep over. But they don't know that it can be something that can depress someone. It can be something that can even lead to suicide. Because I think also we look away from how many politicians we've lost to mental health, not just because of it being a dirty maybe field, but rather than their peers are not treating them as equals. So have you read anything, or do you think there are any solutions? Maybe you've met a few people who have brought up some suggestions, maybe for our viewers who might be interested in joining.
The solutions are multifaceted because, like I said before, I mean, society is multifaceted. There's not only one solution.
Yeah.
So first, let's go to political parties.
Yeah.
Political parties, why are you not fielding your women?
That's a good question, guys.
Democracy it's not at national level. It starts at all the small units.
True.
Yeah.
Can we have internal party democracy? Can we ask ourselves as political parties if we are really representative of the society that has 51% of women? Where are the women?
Yeah.
Are they going to sing in the choir forever?
Wait, you said 51%?
Yes, there are more women than men in Botswana.
And then how many are members of parliament?
11%, and actually it's not even 11%. Okay, specially elected now it becomes 11%, but it's even lower.
So we have to include the specially elected
to make it 11. We are under 10%. And our threshold, what we agreed under the SADC protocol, is 50%. That's how bad we are.
40%.
40%. That's
There's
how
a missing.
bad it
I think
is.
the math is not mathing somewhere.
The math is not
Wherever you are sitting, dear politician, please go back to your party and have an honest conversation, because at the end of the day, let's be honest with ourselves, okay? You were born, whether man or woman, when you were born, you were birthed by a woman. You were likely nurtured by her or another relative who is a woman. There are women in your life who nurture you, who help you progress, who give you advice. And I think it's only fair that you, as a person, say to yourself, I think I want to represent my sisters, my cousins, my female colleagues, purely because they deserve representation. I think maybe that's fair.
It's not only because of that. When we talk politics, when we make policy making, when we keep other groups from the policy making, it means that we'll be narrow in our policies.
That's true. That's true. We'll only consider one side instead of making it holistic.
These things are debates, you know. These things are people looking at even their self-interest, unfortunately. So imagine if other groups are left out during the policy-making process. It means that their views, their perspectives, what they feel every day is not taken into consideration. So I was still talking about political parties that they could do better to field women, because it starts from there. Not only at the last minute at national level, at their branches, their cell, Congress, all these committees. But more on that, we must have specific affirmative action. Because at this point now, we might need an act on that. A specific law that says that we shall have a quota for women. And that is only possible if we have what we call a mixed proportional representative system, where there will be certain quotas left for women.
Looking at how cultural, our societies, especially African societies, are, do you think, or do you maybe foresee maybe some resistance when it comes to introducing such? It's a good policy, but don't you think that there might be a bit of resistance, that it might take time or drag, especially when people don't really agree?
I don't think so, because going back to the researches that we read,
Yes.
I think academics, even NGOs have
Yes.
been working in this space in Botswana. They've been calling for it.
Okay.
And then during the constitutional review, when the commission was going around the country, actually it came from members of the community.
Oh.
Some of the people had talked of, can we try another system that can be representative? So there are calls for that. It's not just me.
Okay.
There's a lot of people. I think people are starting to understand that we might have to do some sort of affirmative action for other groups to be represented. Yes.
Okay.
So I think that people ready to accept it. It's not something that will be, this is new. It's not a new thing. Yeah.
Okay. I think it's probably safe to say things have changed. When I was younger, it was perfectly fine to be told, women belong in certain spaces. But as I grew older and the economy got worse, by the time I was 18, we were cutting the 2008 inflation. That's where we were.
Yeah.
And I think at that point, it started becoming clearer that women's place is not just in the home. It was very easy for us to say, yeah, no, you guys can go work now. Oh, you guys can earn your own salary. But as we begin making more and more decisions, even me, myself, I'm realizing, wait, I have a place in this world that there's nobody else representing me. There's nobody else I see like me. There's nobody else in a similar leadership role. And I can't imagine what it's like for my 16-year-old niece, my 3-year-old niece, and any other child in this space.
And you're right. They must see, the young girls that are coming up, they must see us as leaders.
Yeah.
That is how you transform a society. It's not only education, they must also see that a woman can do this.
Yeah.
Because beforehand, maybe they didn't.
Yeah.
So some of us are lucky we found Bomanasha, we found Bomapumapi,
Yes.
we find a lot of women that are even before us. And I want to believe our daughters, our nieces, the ones that are coming, can also see from us.
Yeah.
Because that's also the onus, is also on us.
It is.
To change a society. Talking about women and in leadership in Botswana, it's not that bad when it comes to corporate. That is why I think the women are ready. I don't have the percentages,
so hiding in the
offices. But it's over 40%.
Okay.
Yes.
Nice.
Women
Nice.
CEOs, women CEOs, women directors. The last time I checked was 43, but I saw another statistics that say up to 58 if we include all directors,
Nice.
PSs and stuff. So it's not all bad in the corporate.
Corporate.
The problem is in the politics side.
Yeah.
But they must know that they can't stay in the comfort of corporate. They must also be able to cross over to make decisions.
Policymakers,
because decisions are made in parliament and in council.
That's true. Even a
Even
CEO
for your
has to
even
listen
for your
to the
business,
minister.
your CEO, your business as CEO, actually they can control your inflation or whatever that can affect your business.
That's very, very
Yes.
true.
So we're not doing bad in the other sectors. It's not all gloom, guys.
Yeah. Okay, so Bomme, we're very proud of you for making it into leadership spaces in general, but consider going into the political spaces. I'm not specifically asking you to become politicians, but at least participate. There's 51% of us in a country of an odd 2.5, 2.6 million people. 1.3 million women, bare minimum. I think we can totally get together and make a stand, make a change, get some things into parliament that we need. But please, take 2 minutes, think about it, talk to your mom, talk to your dad, talk to whoever's in the house and see if maybe we're not just hitting the nail on the head a little bit. And then please come back and we will finish SECHABA. Are you listening? Welcome back to SECHABA. Are you listening? We are on our final segment of episode 9.
And we are
very, very close.
listening.
I hope you've been listening, guys. Like, I know the switch up is kind of weird. I go from smile to like very serious. But like, no, for real. I hope you've been listening, and I hope that we've inspired you to have some very real conversations. I'm curious, Hala. Me as a young woman, I don't want to be a politician. I always said maybe I'll be president one day, but I feel like that's too hard a job for somebody like me. But what kind of political spaces are available for a young woman who just wants to get involved?
It's a lot of work and a lot of spaces that I think somebody can express themselves. Obviously, I would say political parties.
Okay.
But if you are not yet ready for political parties, NGOs are also a good way to be involved in community. Because let's not divorce politics from community work. Love your country in the sense that be involved in your community. Once things are not going well, or if you think things can be better, I think they want to push you to politics.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Fair
So
point.
be involved. If you are just in a home and you are comfortable and you only complain to your mother and father, that's limiting yourself.
Yeah.
Can you leave the home? Can you leave the comfort of home? Because other people are likely to have that comfort. But can you leave that comfort and be immersed in your community in whatever aspects? To young people that are going to school, I always talk to university students and say, if for 4 years you are just in the UB, you are doing yourself misjustice. It's a miscarriage of justice for yourself. Because you are in a cocoon. You don't know what is happening outside the university. That is why at 4th year, you can't look for a job at 4th year.
You should
Just
be
can't.
looking
It's
from
not
first
possible.
year.
Immerse yourself in a community in the sense that at 2nd year, your skills were already outside. We know you're tapping into the market outside, right? So it's the same thing with everything in life. We cannot... I was talking to one politician. I was very hurt. Antari, she sometimes finds young women in their 20s at home and trying to campaign. They say, oh, I'm sorry, our parents are not home, maybe come. Because they're not, that's how our youth are not involved. Our young women also think this is not interesting. They think you'll come later when the grandparents, when the mothers, when the
people you are coming
fathers are
for.
coming.
When the adults are here.
So that's us taking ourselves outside the system. That's why voting age is 18 years.
Yeah.
Young
That's
girl, you are
true.
not young anymore. If you are 18, you can get land, you can vote. You know, you are not young. You can start making decisions at community level. Till then, you grow into national. So that's the starting point. I would just say be involved in the community.
Somewhere.
Yes. I think that's the starting point.
Yeah, because you sparked a very interesting, because I remember a few weeks back you had a seminar or a workshop you did. Yes, that one. And people were not really complaining, but they were saying how when it's time to talk politics, you know, someone will tell you, oh no, I had to go pick up my kids. Oh no, it rather becomes a very convenient excuse to not want to be involved, which I think also, if we're then to bring it back down to our topic, which is also the role of women in politics, it's, I think, we've conditioned most of our young ladies who are growing up to think that, you know, doing certain particular tasks are contributing to society. But as you said, politics creates this society that we are trying to shape them to be contributing towards. So why not also then, because you even mentioned that we're teaching politics a bit too late. Like introduce it in a way that can also be fun for young children to learn. Even having mock, you know, when you're studying law, you have these mock trials, like just having a mock like parliament, you know, in primary school, so they can also understand how politics works. And some young girl could be inspired from a very young age, because I think most women who are actually being actively involved in politics, it's access to information,
Yes.
which some do not have because in school it is not taught. So once they finish maybe secondary school, they do not have maybe the grades that can take them into university. So their level of academic, I'll call it English, school. They are. I think my bundles are finished.
But I hear you. Once I finish, I can continue.
Yes.
You know, TK, I think what always puzzles me about women and being in politics is the fact that I don't know why women don't realize the power that they have.
Yeah, that's a real problem.
I grew up in a society where, for me, unless maybe I'm blind to other things, women are so powerful.
Yeah.
Our mothers, our grandmothers hold society like. If you can mold TK from little to this man, this big man right now.
Yeah.
That's power.
That is power.
That is power if you can mold a person. And not only that, there's the Village Development Committees, VDC. It's women. I don't think they understand that they need to take that power that they have in the community, now take it to council, now take it to national politics, because they already know the society. They have this mekhatlo, Stonkfells, or this where they contribute
There's
to
a
this in the
togetherness.
society. So I don't understand why they don't see the connection with the power that we have as women to realize that actually we can control this country or any other country.
That's very true.
Because in societies where, actually it's a study, it's not me, where women are more involved in any public sphere, those countries do well.
Yeah.
That is why the UN, the development index would show you countries that do well are in Scandinavia.
Where the leaders.
It's not even America. You know why? Because they're closer to be equal. They're closer to be equal. So women being more involved in decision making in the economics actually can take this country to 2036. High income.
I believe that.
It can. How does it become high income when the money is with 40 or 45%? Then it means 55%. Those inequalities will stay forever. Then we can never be anything other than just an unequal society where we think we are rich, but we don't look rich because other people are still very, very, very poor. So that's the essence of what some of us are trying to show people, that we can be actually a better Botswana if we are closer to equal. That is why countries that are doing well are in Scandinavia. Because they practice a different democracy, a social democracy. They don't practice a liberal democracy where only certain individuals enjoy the profits of that democracy. So our women must know, and even the men that are keeping them away from politics, that actually if you have to achieve anything, we have to be closer to be an equal society. That is all parties taking part in decision making. Because you can never, my brother, you can never know my perspectives. You can never represent me. Totally represent a woman that is a mother that is raising children. My perspectives are different from you. That is why both of us have to sit around the table. Because you bring your man perspective, your male perspective, I bring my female perspective. Together, we make it an equal society. That's how easy it is. So I don't know how we are confused.
Okay.
Maybe it's also something along the lines, because when you were talking about how women hold the society, I do remember being young. And I know my father very specifically told me, "Motsadi mongwe le mongwe ke motsadi wa gago." And I was like, yeah, sure. But if I'm honest, Dad, I fear the mothers. I don't care about them people's dads. I fear their moms. Those are the ones I don't want to disrespect. Those are the ones I don't want to catch me doing something naughty. And it's because of that.
We are
The mothers in my society were the ones who held us accountable. They were the ones who nurtured us. They were the ones who made sure we were all right. Irrespective of whose yard it was, but by virtue of that mother, never by that
That's
father.
leadership.
No, but you're right.
No, Khala, you also mentioned something that like stark contrast between the corporate and the political sphere. That we in Botswana we have about maybe 58%, if it include everyone, of women who are holding very high positions. This is showing confidence. This is showing that we are having a very literate as well. Large qualified group of women who are leading. What do you think the difference is do you think the barriers, because now I'm thinking harassment also in the corporate world exists.
Yeah, it does.
Bullying exists.
Yeah.
All these things also exist in the corporate, because the corporate world, capitalism is also a men's world.
Yeah.
Right. So why is it? Do you think that it's because, again, goes back to education, because in university more people are taught about capitalism than politics? Is that why people go into the private sector more? Or maybe they don't want I remember again at your event, someone was speaking about sometimes there can be a bit of like a fight. It's more prone to, like, politics is more prone to conflict than in the corporate. So do you think that there is a way of trying to encourage the same women in private, in the corporates, to maybe get involved without, because already they have the know-how of leading, they have the confidence, they've gone through all these the abuses, and they've persevered, they've built resilience.
Yeah.
Is it something that we can also encourage, and how does the organization also fit the gaps?
I think that's what also has always baffled me, that when women in the corporate are doing good, don't they realize that their power can also it can be more weight if they're in the politics. But let me not talk about if they want to go into politics. First, this could be the difference. Director PSs are appointed. So it could be that it's politics is everywhere. It can be dirty, but I don't think it's as dirty as campaigning and looking for funds to stand for an office. In a corporate place, I go for an interview, and some of us are good at our stuff.
Yeah.
You understand? So it's very easy. Politics is not, like you're saying.
CV.
It's not about CV, guys.
You don't get to have a quick conversation and you're hired.
15 minutes.
There's a different qualification in politics. So I think that let's not confuse that. There's a different qualification. You'll be baffled.
Yeah.
Some people they were asking in 2019, this one, how come he can't be in parliament?
Yeah.
So that's another problem with politics. It's not like we don't have intelligent women in Botswana. Oh God, they are boundless. I can name, just sitting here, 100 people. Just sitting here.
But they're also
not
fighting
searching.
a society that's not
searching,
necessarily...
but we are fighting a society that doesn't want to see us in parliament. So that is why we go to corporate, where only our intellect matters. There at least we are fine.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. May I ask then, as a community, because it means I should maybe be having some conversations with the people in my community to say, guys, why aren't we voting in women? We're never looking at who's the best person for the job. Like in Tlokweng, I know I've never looked at what are they actually going to provide. This will be my first time deciding based on merit what people are going to decide. So, yeah, I don't know. Is it genuinely safe to say, let's just all go home and start having these conversations for real?
For real. I mean, let's hold them accountable. That's our contribution. If you are not at parliament, if you are not at council, your responsibility is to vote yes. But then hold them accountable. It's not an event. It's not one thing.
It's not a ceremony.
Hey, people make it an event. After voting, they don't care. And then when he comes she comes 5 years later, they're like, oh, now you are coming. What about you? There's an office there, parliament. Have you gone and asked him to account? You have that right to call him out.
Viewers, this is where we have to stop on the issue of women in politics. And I would like everybody to please go and have these conversations. Why are you voting for the person you're voting for? Why are you not choosing the woman in your community? And what are you, with what you have, doing for your community to make sure that everybody feels empowered, everybody is getting equitable shares of everything within the community. And
don't forget the most important one. And if you didn't register to vote, why didn't you?
Actually, no, that's a very good question, because they closed it proper on the 31st of May. I don't know if the IEC is planning to open again.
No,
but
let's not do it again. We are spoiling people.
We are. But guys, for real, at this point in time, if you are not intentionally educating yourself, if you are not intentionally being a part of the process, then you're part of the problem.
Yeah.
And I, as a woman, I'm happy to say I've been part of the problem. But as a youth, if I'm not getting what I need, if as a woman I'm not getting whatever services I need, then that's on me because I haven't done my job. So Motswana we kopa October vote now summer's coming. We'll be braying and voting, but if you're not holding your councillors, your parliamentarians, your presidents, your parties accountable,
Parties, yes.
then why are we doing this? Just out of curiosity, why are we doing this? Please ask yourself that question, and then catch us again on SECHABA. Are you listening? We're going to find a season 2 one
And
day.
please share the podcast with friends.
Tell the people to tell the people. Yes.
Thank you.
We see you, see us, see you, see us. Thank you, Hala, for coming.
Thank you, TK.